I guess you could say these captains are pretty fire. Before we open this ranking of the captains from Fire Force, please do me a favor and leave your own ranking of the captains from Fire Force in the comment section down below. Leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Also, make sure you hit that little notification bell so you don't miss out on any videos that come to the channel. Now, let's get into it. What's up, guys? I got Punz here, and here we are to rank the Fire Force captains, or at least the original 8. I know there are more captains now because some things happened to some captains, but I won't necessarily be going into that because there is enough captains as it is, and actually kind of like the original 8 the most, so I'm going to be covering the original 8 only. Spoilers from the manga, because of course there are. I can't help it. I'm not going to hold back, especially considering one of the main reasons some captains are in the places they are because of the manga, and not because of the anime, especially since I think the anime ended around... See, I'm just need to start looking that up. Like, I'm sorry, I still didn't watch the anime, so I don't know. So, if you're an anime only, you don't want to be spoiled. If you don't want to be spoiled, get gone. But now, we're going to hop right into it with number 8. And number 8 is Gustav Honda. And, like, to be fair, the person directly above him was going to be the last one, but then, like, my perspective shifted slightly. And by slightly, I mean very slightly. Like, super slightly, and I'll get to that when I get to that. But for Honda, the reason he's at the bottom is just that despite being the captain of the 2nd Fire Force, despite being seemingly super important, and despite being really, really strong, honestly, he's able to just headbutt not demon infernals, but gigantic, massive scale infernals with his head just casually like that. Can literally get fired out of a cannon and do the good do. I think the only thing is, his ability is, like, the least interesting. His design is, like, I respect the square jaw and all, I really do, but it's just he doesn't look like someone I can take seriously. I'm not gonna lie. Despite being probably extremely powerful, I just cannot take it seriously whenever I see him. And of course, we've gotten so little of his character that's like I just can't really rock with him. Like half of me is like, yo, obviously I know he's pretty stronger than a lot of the other captains that are above him, so technically, he should be higher on that factor alone. And 2, I know he's rather important to the story because he's been holding off the Demon Infernals and the Gigantic Infernals a lot, especially in the manga. But still, he just doesn't do it for me. Like, and the closest thing we got to an interesting character moment for him was in the 2nd most recent chapter when he tells his men, well, just pray who you care for. We're about to die to the moon. Like, that was the most human I've seen him, and that only gave me like a tiny spark of interest, but that's about it. For the rest of the time, it's just been a meme, bro. Like, look at that face. How am I supposed to take you seriously, dog? How? Oh wait, I can't. So I just can't. I'm sorry, man. You stuck at the bottom, bro. That's it. From number 7, we're gonna whoa, not from number 7. From number 8, we're gonna move on to number 7, which is Giovanni. And to be fair, I wasn't rocking with Giovanni. I think y'all knew that. I put his whole company at the bottom, mainly because he barely even had a company. However, this made me laugh, so he has to go on top. No, I'm kidding. But the thing is, I think the reason I'm more fine with Giovanni now is mainly because of how he works as a tool for other characters. Like, since he's one of our big villains, he works as a tool for Vulcan. He works as a tool for Shinra. He works as a tool for... Heck, he works as a tool for Arthur, really. Like, there's so many characters that feed off of Lisa as well. He works off of so many other characters that, like, while he himself is garbage, trash, free, dog water, any other adjectives you could say, I kind of gotta respect what he did for the rest of the cast. Like, and he's also the one who started the Calamity. Like, I can't knock his hustle. Like, the man did a lot. The man did a lot. Sure, he was a terrible human being. He's not even really a human being, he's a flipping bug, but he was still a person who, to a degree, is super, well, not even to a degree, he's just super important to the narrative in general. He's super important to all these other characters' development and a lot of their big, most human moments. He provides one of the coolest moments for Arthur through his death. Like, there's so many things that happen with Giovanni that, as much as I do not like his character, and I don't even think he has the ability other than for the body swap, I just can't knock this dude's hustle. Like, he did his due one way or another. I'll give him his credit. Like, I don't want to. I really don't. Because, to be fair, as a person, he's kind of boring. But the only thing is, I give him more than Gustav Honda because at least this guy showed desire. He wanted a dollar more than anything else. He wanted the end of the world. And sure, well, it's dark, that's dangerous, and that's most certainly terrifying. I can not respect the hustle, but I can respect the determination to fulfill his hustle. So I will give him that. He has number 7 for that reason alone. But for the rest, though, from his design, his corny plague doctor, to his personality, yeah, he's got to stay at the bottom. But enough of number 7. Let's move on to number 6. Kyoko Huang. And to be fair, we've gotten like very, very little of this character. Like to a degree that's actually kind of shocking considering how useful her ability is. But I think that's what carries her for me. Her ability in on its own is what's like, you know what? We'll let it slide. We'll let it slide. We didn't get much, but we will rock with it. Her ability as a healer using the literal symbol of like the Hippocratic Oath, like the doctor symbol, and having it made out of fire and having it go through people and heal them. Super interesting. How she has a deep interest in how Shinra operates due to his own unique nature and the unique nature of Adala. Super interesting. I don't know. I like characters who have powers that are not only support based, just because they're kind of rare. Like usually everyone's all on the offense, but also her interest in certain things is what also catches me off guard, because usually you don't necessarily see that often. So to see someone who's like not one pretty indifferent to Shinra's whole backstory as like this evil dude, she's like whatever, I don't care. He's still a patient. He still needs healing. Like I give her her respect to I give her the respect. Wait, how can I phrase that? I respect her for being able to look past Shinra's past and just help him as someone who needs help. I respect her ability as a person. Well, not her ability, but her nature as a person to be naturally inquisitive, since I'm naturally inquisitive. I respect, honestly, the drip. Look at the coat over what, I'm kidding. But I think she, while is underutilized, considering how cool and important her ability could be, I still will give her due respect. That's the thing, though. She doesn't have much else over that. She's not just flat out boring like I find Gustav Honda, and she's not a menace like I find an unentertaining menace. I think that's why, because y'all know I love menaces, but I don't think Giovanni's that entertaining of a menace. So yeah, she does have to take number 6, but that's really purely by technicality. We haven't gotten much of her, which kind of saddens me because her ability is really, really cool. However, enough of number 6. Let's move on to number 5. All right, so we have this bad boy right here, and honestly, you want to talk about respecting the hustle? Soy Cheerio Hagwe? Man's a menace. 15 different degrees. I imagine you're a loyal Fire Force soldier for years and years and years. You get that one lick of Adala, and suddenly you're like, golly gee willikers, bro. I don't care what it takes. I need another. Like, those 3 scars came from an Infernal he fought that made him experience Adala. And he's like, you know what? Forget it. I am free. I am above guilt. I'm above despair, buddy. Let me just taste the flames of Adala again. And we gotta respect his hustle, because he very likely, to be fair, I'm not sure if it's confirmed or not, but considering he died without showing any pyrokinetic abilities, this dude was essentially just an older version of Akitaro. Like, legitimately, he was just a menace with no special powers, who was just fighting infernals, being a super strong firefighter with sheer muscle and like technical skill. Look at this setup, bro. Look at his setup. Forget any streamer setup, bro. He has like 1 wire, 2 wire, 3 wire, 4 wire, 5 wire, 6 wire, 7 wire, 8 wire, so many wires, and they all have weapons attached to him. He knows how to wield them all very, very well. And he also just fought Shinra, who was being controlled by the first pillar. Like, how do you even do that? Like, to be fair, Shinra wasn't at his strongest by that point, but dude literally got kicked, thrown through windows. It was like, do it again. Like, sure, he became a low-key masochist after he got exposed to them flames, bruh. Like, he was rocking with the pain after a little while, but hey, whatever to get your rocks off, old man. Like, I ain't gonna bother you. So I do respect all of that. Like, the sheer top of the line menace mentality this dude has is, 1, amazing, but 2, also, I will give him credit in the idea that he was a very important character to a lot of people. Like, a lot of people did seriously respect him and all that he did for the world. And even if he was starting to act different, they still respected him as their captain. And I do feel bad that he died, especially since he died, like, did so dirty by the White Clad. Like, Gold came up and bodied him, not off screen, really. We did to see his death, but he got bodied with no one else there to protect him. And now it was labeled as suicide. So no one will ever, like, really know the truth behind that. They're just going to have to assume that he was murdered, which they assume right. But, like, he has such a sad ending for overall a really interesting character. One of the first characters to ever reveal. Like, he takes us almost to a white clad perspective, but he's not a white clad. Like, he just experienced the doll and was like, wow, I want to experience it again. It seemed like a really cool thing. Compared to the white cloud, it's like, wow, I want to merge it all with the human world because I want to cause the death of humanity. Like, there's a very big difference between the two. But I like how he's sort of that transitionary point. Like, he is more so intrigued with the dollar as a concept rather than being scared of it. And I think that's very, very cool. Because even two of our biggest characters, both Leonard Burns and, you know, Big Papa Joker, like, they're afraid of a dollar to a degree. Like, their experiences with it are completely different. And while they want to stop a dollar, Hogway's like, yeah, I mean, I'm kind of rocking with it. I'd like to experience it again. And he's in this interesting middle ground, and I really like that. However, enough of Hogway. We're going to move on to number 4, Leonard Burns. Now, here's the thing about Burns. First, he'd be burning. Wait, that's a gift. I'm not sure if I'm going to get in trouble for that. So, the thing about Leonard Burns is that he, as a character on his own, is super interesting because of his backstory. Like, the way he ties into Shinra's past, the way he ties into Joker's past, the way he ties into the past of the entire church, the way he has a whole experience with Adala. Like, he's a very interesting character on that front alone. But then you have, like, his cool ability where he's able to transcend himself into different fire stages. Like, overall, Leonard Burns just has this, like, super stacked upon existence as a character. One, just a super cool design. Like, bruh, tell me this man doesn't have sauce. Tell me this man doesn't have, sure, his forearms are gigantic. Look at his hands are literally bigger than his feet. But he may be a little top heavy. But outside of that, the way he wears the Fire Force coat over the dress shirt, the way he always is stanced up ready for a fight. And I love how the eye burns. Like, the eye he lost to Adala. Haha, Leonard Burns, eye burns. But still, I like how the eye he lost to Adala will still light up and flame whenever he starts to use his powers. And I always assumed, this may not be a thing. I don't remember if it was stated in the manga or not. I always assumed that he did get amped by witnessing Adala, like, directly. Like, everyone who has pyrokinetic abilities, if you experience an Adala link, maybe not a massive amp, but you do get slightly amped, and that's why his eye still burns even though it's gone. So I don't know. Overall, just a really cool dude. The thing is, I'm not going too in-depth here on my thoughts on it and what I think about his backstory and everything, because really the top 4 characters probably going to get their own videos at some point. I don't want to start repeating myself in those videos. So that is enough of Leonard for now. Y'all know he's number 4 because of that spicy backstory, that amazing design, his cool power set, and honestly, he has one of my favorite fights in this series in his rematch with Shinra, which is really, really cool to me. But enough of that. Let's move on to number 3, which is Hibana. So I respect Hibana now. To be fair, when we started, I was so glad Shinra was all about true equality. Like, he did, this is going to sound bad, but he did need to knock some sense into that woman. But outside of that, I think, see, that sounds so bad. Don't hit women. Please, don't hit women. But in terms of her character growth as someone, outside of the whole fact that she instantly fell in love with Shinra because she got smacked, like, outside of that, I think her whole relationship with the world and, like, how she ties into the experiences of Adala and how her whole past is sort of based in this darker world, and how she ended up letting that corrupt her only to be restored by the people she loved and cared about. I think that's really, really cool. I think just her being a scientist in general is really, really cool, and how she, like, plays tricks on other factions. Like, she ends up sort of betraying the Holy Soul Temple and, like, the scientist brigade that's part of the Holy Soul Temple that, like, Giovanni works with, so she can work with Company 8. Like, she has a lot of character ties and interactions, and she discovers a whole lot about the world that we wouldn't really get to experience without her. Like, if you remove her from the narrative, we would have a much lesser understanding of the world. Like, even Victor Lake did need her help on a lot of occasions to figure stuff out. I think that's great. Not every character needs to be, like, this big, bad, powerful frontline fighter. You just gotta have people you also gotta have people who are your scientists, your researchers, your people who discover things. Because if you don't have anyone who's telling you what to do, then what are you supposed to do? So I do greatly respect her for that. We'll definitely go more in depth on her character and her backstory and in her own video. But that is all for now. Enough of Hibana. Let's move on to number 2. Now, if you ask me, before I had caught up on Fire Force, who my favorite captain was, it would have to be Akitaro. And that's mainly because this dude was like the purest definition of got to see it through, my boy. Because he is a whole he has no powers. Not a single one. The only powers he has is gains, bro. Look at the gains. Look at them. Look at how swole he is. Like the moment I knew like Akitaro was gonna be one of my favorites when he literally pulled up on the strongest Fire Force fighter ever, Benimaru Shimon. It was like, I want smoke, buddy. Like, well, he didn't say I wanted smoke, but he was willing to fight him. Like, that was a fight he was destined to lose. There was no reason that he should have even lasted in that fight. But he didn't care. He had to see it through, my boy. And, of course, he has this whole relationship with Shinra. And now he's a very important factor, how he's the leader of Company 8. And their whole job is to investigate other companies. Like, there's so much cool stuff behind Akitaro that I'm definitely going to have to go into more in depth later that I really, really like. There's a backstory, how he ties into a lot of our previous characters, from Maki to namely my 9, Hinawa, to every single character. He tends to have some link with them, and I think that's really, really cool. I like characters who tie into other characters. It's something I enjoy. I'm not even gonna lie to you. There's nothing really specific about that, but yeah, I really, really like Akitaro. But I definitely am gonna go into him in his own video. Look at the man himself. He deserves it. So I will definitely go into him later. But we got to get into number 1. Now, I believe a few months back when I released I'm Reading Fire Force, and a certain character, a certain man asked me, yo, who's your favorite character? Or who's one of your list your favorite characters and such. Speaking moistly, Grandmaster Z, whatever you prefer to call yourself. I'll admit, I wasn't caught up yet, so I didn't get to Hibachi versus Benimaru. But after seeing that, Benimaru wins. He wins. Come on now. He's definitely one of my favorite characters now. We're definitely going to go into depth where he stacks up to my favorite characters in the future. But obviously, he has so many great fights. He has such a great history with his clan. What? I was about to say his clan. What am I talking about? Itachi. But he has a great history with his whole nation of, well, not mini nation, but his own little prefecture of Asakusa. He has one of the coolest power sets, if not flat out the coolest power set in the entire series. He's a mixed 2nd generation and 3rd generation, the child of the heavens. He has some of the coolest panels in the entire series. Super interesting backstory, super interesting current story. I can't wait to see him fight his doppelganger. Like, so much exciting stuff is going to happen. It's going to be great. It's going to be amazing. Can't wait. He's number 1 because everything. But he's definitely getting his own video. Like, literally, I'm pretty sure, yeah, 2 weeks from now. So don't be shocked when you get a whole video on Benimaru Shimon. Men's a menace. Fantastic. That's my ranking. I want to hear yours in the comment section down below. Do you think that I'm crazy? Do you think I'm wrong? Do you think characters should be shifted around? Do you think there should have been a tier of his own for Benimaru? Because I know some people do. I want to hear it all. Please tell me in the comment section down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is That Guy with a Pencil, writing off.